Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. The hostage needs a way out, and Anna is back for the next mystery chapter. The next part of Anna Devane's captivity mystery will be revealed when she returns. This captive will require a way out, so let's talk about Anna's plans for the week of December 8th to 12th. Fans of GH will remember that Anna was chloroformed after being ambushed in her car. Soon later, Anna heard what sounded like Caesar Faison's voice on a speaker while she was being restrained. Even though Anna was informed that she would be starting a new life, her small prison cell won't feel like much of a life at all. With no way out, Anna will be forced to sleep in a tiny, uninteresting room. Anna won't simply accept her fate, of course. As Anna brainstorms, viewers may notice that she is holding a pencil and paper. On the other hand, Anna could be able to make friends with and influence the person in charge of her care. At some point, Anna may write a note and attempt to get it returned to her loved ones. In any event, Anna will remain composed and try to determine the true situation. Fans may come one step closer to unraveling the mystery as we watch Anna reflect on her situation and who might be responsible. Given that Faison's voice was heard soon after Anna was abducted, she might recall Jason Morgan's idea of gaslighting. While employing AI to simulate Faison's voice, Anna might infer someone wants her to believe he is still alive. Nevertheless, Anna is wise enough not to rule out a Faison return. Anna will have a lot on her mind, but she will have plenty of time to think about it while she is still in forced captivity. Although Anna might be frustrated and imprisoned for a little longer, she might benefit from an escape route or a rescuer. Since they believe Anna is away on a highly classified WSB mission, Anna's loved ones have no reason to anticipate her return anytime soon. Anna returns to Port Charles with an injured Dex, Sonny stunned. Anna Devane's reappearance marks the beginning of the next mystery chapter, one loaded with danger, psychological warfare, and secrets that have been simmering beneath the surface of Port Charles for months. Although she returns physically present, part of her is still trapped in the nightmare she's endured. The haunting memories of her captivity cling to her like shadows that refuse to release their grip. Anna's ordeal began when she was ambushed in her car and abruptly chloroformed, an attack so fast and calculated that even someone with her training was caught off guard. She woke up in a small, dimly lit, claustrophobic room that felt like it was intentionally crafted to break the spirit. A cheap cot, a sink that barely worked, and a single door that never opened except when her captors allowed it. This was the brand new life they promised her, one she immediately sensed was part of something far more sinister than a simple abduction. The most chilling moment came when she heard a voice echo through the speakers, Caesar Faison's unmistakable, taunting voice, dripping with the same venom she remembered from their years of psychological warfare. Although logic whispered that Faison was dead, emotion prickled at the possibility of his return, making her question whether someone was resurrecting him figuratively through technology or literally through some unforeseen twist. It didn't help that Jason Morgan once suggested that someone could be gaslighting her, manipulating audio through AI to mimic Faison's voice. Anna knew this was completely plausible, yet she also understood that in her world, the impossible had a habit of becoming reality. Whether illusion or truth, the voice had served its purpose, it got inside her head. Still, Anna refused to succumb. She began analyzing every detail of her environment, the temperature of the room, the angle of the light, the sounds beyond the walls, even the timing of her captor's visits. She maintained a disciplined calm, reminding herself that panic was the first victory of the enemy. At one point, she was given a pencil and notepad, likely a careless allowance by someone underestimating her resourcefulness. She used them to catalog everything she could, sketching possible layouts, writing coded messages, and theorizing about who might be behind her disappearance. Occasionally, someone entered the room to bring food or adjust something mechanical, but their face was always masked or obscured. However, Anna could sense hesitations, subtle shifts in tone, and momentary pauses that suggested at least one of her handlers was not fully committed to the job. This opened a new door in her strategy, manipulation through empathy. She considered writing a message and trying to slip it to her caretaker, appealing to their conscience or their fear, depending on what motivated them. But she needed the right moment, and she needed absolute certainty that such a move wouldn't end in her execution, or worse, relocation to a more fortified cell. Days passed, or at least she believed they were days. Time was impossible to track. But while her body remained confined, her mind worked tirelessly, constructing theories and eliminating impossibilities. She catalogued voices, footsteps, even the mechanical hums she believed were ventilation systems. Somewhere in the vast web of her analysis, she began connecting dots between recent events in Port Charles, unresolved threats, and the possibility that someone with intimate knowledge of her past was orchestrating this. As she worked, frustration simmered under her composed exterior, not because she felt helpless, but because she knew she should have seen something like this coming. Meanwhile, back in Port Charles, her absence generated no alarms. Everyone believed she was on a classified WSB mission, completely unreachable, which made her captivity even more dangerous. No one would be searching for her. That isolation was perhaps her captor's most effective weapon. And yet fate intervened in an unexpected way. During a brutal attempt at escape, a desperate act she had no choice but to make when she saw her captors momentarily distracted, Anna encountered someone she never imagined she'd cross paths with in a place like this, Dex Heller. He was bloody, unconscious, and barely breathing, dumped in an adjacent room like cargo that had lost its value. She didn't know whether he had been taken for leverage, punishment, or coincidence, but she quickly recognized that leaving him behind wasn't an option. Dex had information, or at the very least, he was a living connection to the outside world, one she desperately needed. She performed basic first aid with limited tools, stabilizing him enough to wake him. When he finally opened his eyes, groggy and terrified, she identified herself and assured him she would not leave him. Together, they pieced together fragments of what had happened to him. He had been grabbed after getting too close to one of Sonny's enemies, and his captors seemed obsessed with information about Sonny's operations. Whether this connected to Anna's abduction was unclear, but it gave her a motive. Someone was targeting key players in Port Charles, each for different reasons, yet all threads pointed to a mastermind with a grand, interconnected plan. When Anna realized a rare opening in the captor's schedule might allow a small window for escape, she made the decision. Injured or not, Dex would have to come with her. Using every ounce of her training, she helped him stand, supported most of his weight, and navigated the dim hallways using details she mapped out during captivity. The escape was chaotic, alarms blared, voices shouted, and footsteps thundered after them, but through sheer willpower, Anna forced them both through a service tunnel that led to the outside world. Cold air slapped her face, but the sensation was exhilarating. She was free. Dex was alive. And the game was far from over. When Anna finally made it back to Port Charles, dragging an injured Dex into safety, Sonny Corinthos was stunned. He had been mourning Dex's disappearance, blaming himself for failing to protect the young man he once considered family. Seeing Dex barely conscious and Anna bruised but standing sent Sonny into a whirlwind of shock, fear, and rage. He demanded answers: why Anna had Dex with her, what happened, who was behind it. But Anna, still processing her trauma and piecing together theories, could only offer fragments of the truth. She explained the captivity, the chilling voice of Faison, and the disturbing possibility that someone was using advanced AI tech to psychologically dismantle her. She even theorized that whoever abducted her may be connected to the group that targeted Dex, possibly a syndicate or rogue faction with resources that rivaled the WSB. This revelation shook Sonny. Someone using Dex to get to him was expected, even inevitable. But someone using Anna, bypassing WSB security, and resurrecting the ghost of Faison? That suggested a threat operating on a whole other level. As Dex received medical care, Anna insisted that no one was safe until they uncovered the truth. She vowed to track down the person, or people, who orchestrated her abduction. She also warned Sonny that depending on the scope of this conspiracy, more people in Port Charles could already be in danger. Sonny, fueled by anger and guilt, promised retaliation, but Anna cautioned him to tread carefully. Whoever they were dealing with anticipated emotional reactions. The mastermind wanted chaos, distraction, and fear. Anna, now back in Port Charles but haunted by the confinement she endured, realized this was only the beginning. She had escaped the physical prison, but the psychological game had followed her home. A new chapter had begun, one filled with deception, shadow enemies, high-tech terror, and secrets that stretched deeper than anyone imagined. And as she stood in Port Charles with Sonny demanding answers and Dex fighting to stay awake, one truth became crystal clear: this mystery was far from solved, and the next move would determine whether Port Charles descended into darkness or stood united against a threat unlike anything they had faced before. Anna's return to Port Charles with an injured Dex sends shockwaves throughout the entire town, but the true depth of what she experienced remains locked inside her, simmering beneath the surface like an active volcano waiting for the right trigger to erupt. Although she tries to present a composed exterior, the trauma of captivity clings to her every movement, altering her instincts, sharpening her reflexes, and heightening her paranoia in ways even she can't fully control. Every sound startles her, every shadow seems deeper than before, and every familiar face inspires an extra beat of hesitation. She reminds herself relentlessly that she is Anna Devane, former super spy, decades-long survivor, mother, and fighter, but even the strongest warriors bleed, and the psychological scars of hearing Faison's voice through that speaker refuse to fade quietly. Meanwhile, Port Charles begins buzzing with rumors, because Anna's sudden reappearance with a gravely injured Dex Heller raises too many questions for the tight-knit community to ignore. People whisper in Kelly's, speculations swirl at the Metro Court, and the PCPD struggles to separate truth from gossip as they attempt to extract any information from the barely conscious Dex. Carly and Jocelyn rush to the hospital the moment they hear Dex has returned, and Joss's heart almost shatters when she sees him hooked up to monitors, bruised and battered. She demands answers from Anna, who does her best to remain calm despite her own internal turmoil, patiently reassuring Joss that Dex fought hard and held on because he wanted to get back to her. But Jocelyn, fueled by fear and anger, lashes out at Sonny for failing to protect Dex, accusing him of dragging Dex into a war he never should have been part of. Sonny, for once, doesn't defend himself. The guilt of seeing Dex unconscious, another young man hurt because of his orbit, hits him hard, stirring memories of Morgan, reminding him of every life altered or destroyed by the choices he's made as a mob boss. Even so, Sonny senses something far more dangerous at play, something that transcends his usual enemies or rival families. He studies Anna's face, watching the subtle tremors in her eyes, the stiffness in her posture, the way her hand hovers near her pocket where a weapon normally rests. Sonny has known Anna for decades, fought beside her, clashed with her, trusted her, and he recognizes a fellow soldier who has endured torture that left invisible wounds. He insists on helping her, but Anna initially resists, explaining that this mystery is far more complicated than anything Sonny has dealt with recently. She describes the voice of Caesar Faison, how it taunted her, manipulated her, and attempted to break her. Sonny's jaw clenches. Faison is a name that reverberates through Port Charles history like a curse, a ghost that refuses to die, and one who left deep scars on people Sonny cares about. But when Anna floats the theory that someone could be using AI to mimic Faison's voice, Sonny's reaction shifts from anger to cold calculation. He asks her who would go to such extremes, who would invest in high-level voice cloning technology, who would have intimate knowledge of both Anna's past trauma and Sonny's criminal world. Anna shares her belief that whoever orchestrated her kidnapping is not just targeting her, they are dismantling key players across Port Charles, removing lieutenants, destabilizing protection structures, and shaking the foundation of trust that holds the town together. And the fact that Dex was taken suggests the captors want access to Sonny's operations, perhaps to expose vulnerabilities or gather intel. The WSB, alerted begrudgingly after Anna's return, offers minimal help, claiming they have no knowledge of any rogue faction or internal betrayal, but Anna reads between the lines. Someone within the organization is lying, covering something up, or actively participating in her abduction. She decides she cannot rely on the WSB. Instead, she turns to a small circle of trusted allies, Sonny, Robert Scorpio, Valentine Cassadine, and Damian Spinelli, because she believes the answer to this mystery lies in a hybrid of high-tech manipulation and old-world vendettas. As Anna tries to piece together fragments of memory, sounds, scents, and sensations from her captivity, she becomes increasingly fixated on the hidden caretaker she observed during her imprisonment, the one with hesitant movements and a nervous tremble in their voice. She suspects this person may have a conscience or may be someone forced into service by the real mastermind. If she can identify them, she may uncover the first major crack in the operation. Meanwhile, Dex slowly regains consciousness, though his breathing is strained, his ribs are fractured, and he has a concussion. When Sonny visits him privately, Dex barely manages to whisper that the people who took him knew everything, every detail, every route and code. The revelation startles Sonny, because those protocols were changed recently, and only a handful of people knew them. He begins to wonder whether someone inside his organization, or close to him, leaked this information. But before he can question Dex further, Dex warns him about something else. One of his captors mentioned the second phase, implying that Anna and Dex's escape may have triggered a larger, more dangerous part of the plan. Sonny takes this information back to Anna, who feels her stomach twist as she realizes her return may have set a deadly chain reaction in motion. The more she reflects on the environment of her captivity, the more she is convinced that she and Dex were never meant to survive long term. They were pawns in something grander, pieces meant to generate a specific outcome, force a particular emotional response, or distract certain individuals at precisely the right moment. If Phase 1 was kidnapping her and Dex, then Phase 2 may be unfolding now in Port Charles. Anna theorizes that the mastermind's goal might be to create chaos, divide powerful allies, and weaken defenses across multiple fronts. Someone may be preparing to strike while the town is confused and emotionally unstable. But who? And why? As the days go on, Anna becomes consumed with reconstructing her timeline. She asks Spinelli to analyze voice patterns and compare them to Faison's original recordings, hoping to uncover digital manipulation. She asks Valentine to investigate WSB chatter and search for signs of a mole or rogue operative. She asks Robert to reopen old cases connected to Faison, the DVX, and remnants of criminal networks that could have resurfaced. Despite all this activity, Anna cannot shake the psychological echo of that room, the cold cement, the metallic hum, the distant taps in the walls, the cooling system that whirred at odd intervals. She wonders whether the location might have been underground, near a mechanical plant, or part of a repurposed facility. Each clue matters. Each memory is a breadcrumb. But the deeper she digs, the more she realizes that her captors left these clues on purpose. They wanted her to sense certain things, remember certain sounds, believe she had pieced together certain theories. The breadcrumb trail was not accidental, it was engineered. And that means the mastermind knows her exceptionally well. Across town, someone else begins to feel tremors of fear, Valentine Cassadine. He tries to remain composed, but a message delivered to his private email shakes him. The email contains one sentence: "You were supposed to protect her." Attached is an audio clip, Faison's voice, the same one Anna heard. Valentine immediately rushes to Anna, desperate to warn her, but when he arrives, she already knows. She received her own version of the message, different wording, different delivery method, but the same implication. Someone is taunting them. Someone is monitoring them. Someone is orchestrating every emotional beat, every investigative turn, from the shadows. Meanwhile, Sonny grows deeper in paranoia as he realizes his organization may have been infiltrated. Brick assists him in quietly interrogating key members, reviewing surveillance logs, and analyzing unexpected financial transactions. But the more they investigate, the more they uncover evidence of a leak so subtle, so expertly buried, that it had to be planned months in advance. It dawns on Sonny that the threat may not simply be external, it could be someone with a long-standing vendetta, someone blending history with modern technology, someone leveraging both psychological manipulation and criminal strategy. As Anna continues retracing her captivity memories, she experiences sudden flashbacks, small but vivid fragments of her caretaker's voice, the glint of a necklace, the sound of a familiar accent, the scent of a particular cologne. And then it hits her, a chilling possibility: what if the caretaker wasn't just a nervous low-level accomplice? What if the caretaker was someone she once knew? Someone coerced, brainwashed, or manipulated into assisting the enemy? The thought rattles her to the core because it reopens a door she desperately wanted to leave closed, the possibility that someone presumed dead or long forgotten has been revived or replaced by something far more horrifying. AI deepfake technology, identity manipulation, psychological conditioning. All of it is possible, especially in the world Anna has navigated for decades. She confides these fears to Sonny, who listens intently, realizing this mystery is far more layered than he initially believed. But before they can discuss further, the hospital alarms suddenly blare. Dex has disappeared from his room. Panic erupts. Jocelyn screams. Carly demands answers. Sonny feels his chest tighten as he realizes this could be part of the second phase. Anna immediately shifts into agent mode, scanning the room, analyzing the window, the scuff marks on the floor, the abrupt drop in Dex's heart rate monitor prior to his disappearance. She determines that Dex was not taken by force, he left voluntarily, or was manipulated into leaving. Sonny initially refuses to believe Dex would walk away, but Anna explains that trauma victims are often triggered by sensory memories. Dex may have heard a sound, a voice, or received a message that convinced him he had no choice. She speculates that the mastermind might intend to use Dex as bait, or weaponize him. And then Anna finds something chilling.